Hey, what's going on? You know who it is. You know what it is. All right, you guys, peep game. All right. Faith Johnson seems to have been voted out of office, and there seems to be another person voted in as district attorney, and he appears that he's going to try to do more as far as the Amber Guyger case go. Now, in case you guys don't know, Faith Johnson is the person that's been under tremendous pressure to basically try and convict Amber Guyger and put her in prison where she belongs for basically murdering, Botham Jean. Now, this new DA, he's taking over the case, or he's getting his evidence together, but he basically said from his knowledge of the case, he said the appropriate charge for Amber Guyger would have been murder. I don't think it would be first degree, but at least second degree. And he said that's what she should have been charged with from the evidence he gathered. Now, we all know they were trying to do a cover up. He said basically her apartment should have been searched. He said basically the police did not follow proper procedure, basically that they tried to cover this up. And they sort of tried to run a smear campaign against John, which they did. They searched his apartment, but then they didn't search her apartment, and he was the damn victim. And some people believe that they tried to plant that marijuana, which they probably did. The bottom line is, we already know there's a history of cover-ups when it comes to police, and it's very hard to get a police convicted. It really is. I mean, it's really hard because, one, the prosecution, they will try to make sure that, a lot of times they are for the cop. They will try to make sure that they are predominantly, if none, all white jurors and no blacks at all. That's what happened with the George Zimmerman case. They made sure there was not one black juror serving on that case. But Faith Johnson stood in front of a town hall meeting, of course, lying through her teeth. Now, keep in mind, the chief got caught in the lie when she said, "Oh, well, I can't fire her." And then basically the Texas Ranger said, "Yes, you can. You could do what you want." So that already showed you that they was trying to protect her. Now, we always hear these little shots that's taken by certain women that say, hey, black men don't protect black women. Who been regurgitating and putting out that bullshit. It's a few women that's notorious for doing that. I'm not going to say their names. But Faith Johnson basically did not care about Botham Jean, and she basically was trying to protect Amber Guyger, trying to protect the badge instead of trying to protect the public. And she's sworn to protect and serve the people, the public. And she was basically trying to protect Amber Guyger, who blatantly killed Mr. John in cold blood. He should not have ended up dead. But see, here's the thing that I'm worried about, ladies and gentlemen. I'm worried about this DA taking over the case and he not being able to get a conviction. Because people just don't want to convict cops. Now, I know there was a case where that police shot that young black man in the back of the head and lied and said that he tried to flee the scene, which he didn't. And the only reason why he got convicted is because his partner said, hey man, he wasn't trying to hit us with the car. He said he was too far away. He didn't remotely try to hit us with the car. He was trying to get away. And it wasn't no reason for that dude to fire that gun. And he fired the gun and he hit the young man in the back of the head. And I'm going to tell you right now, when you get shot with a gun with that magnitude in the back of the head, you're not going to live. You just not. That's why they called high-powered rifles. And basically that was it. But they was able to get a conviction because basically his partner said, hey, man, he wasn't trying to hit us. It was no reason for him to fire his weapon. But this is a case where basically it's her story versus his, but a lot of people contradicted Amber Guyger's story, but let's see what happens. I think maybe the best thing for this dude to do is just leave the charges at manslaughter to where he can get some kind of conviction. As long as she gets jail time and she's never able to practice law enforcement again, that's okay. Because the family is going to sue the shit out of, Dallas. Because if he tries to try her for murder and, you know what I'm saying, and she completely gets off, well, guess what? The charges are dropped. And then basically she can become a cop again. Real talk. They may not let her become a cop in Dallas, but she'll be able to practice law enforcement somewhere else. Just like the guy that fired his gun and killed Tamir Rice. He practicing law enforcement again. So that's just the bottom line, man. We got to be careful with that. I'm out.